Welcome back, or welcome to the Citizen channel. Where have you been if you've not been here before? But welcome back. One of our regular features now. Yeah, City produced a digital magazine. It would be great if they still produced a sort of hard copy, wasn't it? A lot of people didn't like it. They didn't like the. I thought they were okay when it sort of finished. I thought it was an okay magazine. It could have been better, of course it could, but of course at the end of the day, these things had to make money, and they still have to make money now and produce a magazine. So it just wasn't. So they stopped it. But they do a great digital magazine now. They've done it for 4 or 5 months now. So we have a quick look at what's in it and what's worth a read. And obviously, I've had a good read through this. Obviously, if you're going down to Southampton or you've got a bit of spare time, it'd be great to have a read of this magazine. Some good stuff in it as well. So I'm going to look at the February 22 edition, of course, which has a grinning Kevin De Bruyne on the cover for this one, which is so that's a good start, is it? And cometh the hour, cometh the man is a header of a piece, of course, on KDB, which starts the magazine itself. So I will post the links to the magazine in the description. It's easy if you go on the City website, but you'll find it. Just go down the latest news and it pops up. But I've posted a link anyway, so you can go straight to there if you want to read it. It's not messing about searching for it. Depending when you're watching this, of course, there's obviously the City website things get updated, so it moves down the line, doesn't it? And all the other magazines are still available as well, so you can read any of those as well. Right, we've got, of course, the regular, of course, after Kevin, we've got the regular month ahead with Andy Morrison. He predicts upcoming games, of course. He even predicts scores, which is very bold of him. I won't go into how close or accurate he was with the scores, but the last lot, he got all apart from one. Yeah, he said it was going to be a draw against Chelsea. Silly boy. I did actually warn him that I thought we'd win them all, but there you go. But Andy, nothing wrong with being a bit of glass half full, mate. And this month, of course, he looks forward to Saints, Fulham, Brentford, Norwich, and Sporting Lisbon and Spurs. So another busy set of games coming up. I'll let you see his prediction, but I think he's pretty right this time. I think he's perhaps learned his lesson with this lot. Manchester City's European tour continues is the next thing, and this features Alexander Zinchenko, of course, and he chats about the competition, how it's close to his heart. He chats the obviously last PSG game we played, which he was quite prominent in that, wasn't it? And he talks about the upcoming Lisbon games. The list, interesting one this month, guys. The list is quite quirky. It's a quirky thing, I call it, don't it? For Valentine's Day, as it coming up, soon be upon us, won't it? They look at a collection of romantic city names. Right, so this is the sort of this is where they've set the bar. Well, it's quite low actually, guys. But this is we've got Joe Hart, spelt Heart. Okay, that's quite a simple one. There's loads of these. I'll just give you a couple of examples so you know what we're talking about, what level we're talking at. Casper Perfume Schmeichel. Yeah, that's the level we're at, guys. And another one. I won't go into all of them. There's some good ones. Some, well, good. Let's say okay ones. I won't say good. Mike Summer Be Mine. Summer Be Mine. Okay, that is it. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know the bar's down here. It's near the ground, isn't it, guys? But it's quirky. It may give you a chuckle. It may make you grow. It'll probably do all of that in between. So there you go. Have a look at that. Best 11. Yeah, we've got a couple of these this week. The first one's chosen by Johnny Marr. It includes players like Paul Power and Willie Donachie. Certainly great players. Some of my favourites. Joleon Lescott was a member, of course, of the last team that played Sporting Lisbon in March 2012, and he looks back at that and looks forward, of course, to this matchup some 10 years later. So yeah, obviously it'll be a History Boys feature coming up, guys. I won't tell you which game we're looking at, but please enjoy that when it's available. Paul Power, he talks a long and winding road to the first team. So Mr. Paul Power, a cousin or a supposed cousin of my ex-wife and the family, but I've never met the guy. I've never even shook his hand. He talks about his joining City and his highs and his lows, of course, and we all know the obvious things, but obviously Paul Power did well with Everton as well, didn't he? He got a deserved league title medal as well with Everton, which was nice for him. James McAtee, EDS boss Brian Brian Barry Murphy, is it? Or Barry Murphy? Brian Barry Murphy talks about the impact he's made, and as an example, James McAtee as to the rest of the EDS squad. So that's nice. 5 minutes with Alistair Mann. There you go. Well, if you're a quick reader like me, it might take you 2 or 3 minutes, but yeah, 5 minutes with Alistair Mann. A question Q&A basically with the commentator, of course, big City fan. He does the City site commentaries as well, and obviously he's on Match of the Day, isn't he, as well? His first game, well, he couldn't have done much better, certainly for atmosphere and certainly for drama. His first game, of course, a Boxing Day game with Newcastle with a certain King Colin Bell coming back for the second time. People think it was his big comeback game, but it wasn't. It was his second comeback game. But what a game! What a start for a fan to go and watch that. Yeah, things weren't quite as good in the Kippax after that. I mean, that was one of the greatest emotional, wonderful nights ever on the Kippax in my life, anyway. And we've had a few. We had a few after that and a few before it, but that. Amazing. So if you're going to go to a first match, I suppose Alistair Mann picked the right one there. And there's a Q&A with City Women's Australian international Hayley Rasso. I think she's been affected by injury, so she struggled a bit to get kicked off, but I think she's all right now. So if you're into the women's stuff, it's not really I hope the girls do well, but not really my sort of thing. The regular feature, of course, on the Fantasy Premier League, and we have the lovely and City fan and presenter. She's on BBC. She's everywhere at the moment. Natalie Pike, who has a unique selection policy for the Fantasy Premier League. So she talks about how she does that. And, of course, her team's called No United Players. So that's not a bad title for a team, is it? So have a look at that. Second of a two-part series. Yeah, part one was in last month in the January issue. Lead coach of the EDS, Danny Walker, talks about his coaching journey at City. Steph Horton, yeah, she just recently signed a new contract, hasn't she? So she talks, it's entitled Steph Horton, A Tower of Strength. She certainly is from what I've seen, and talks about signing a new contract and how she's been doing in her City career so far. And the bonus City 11, yeah, I said there's a couple this time. It's obviously with the AFCON going on. They've obviously done a bonus City 11 based on City players who are either African or have African connections. So, I mean, there's lots of familiar names. A couple of names that I'm not too familiar with, I'd have to look up and read up on. But, of course, there's a couple of Toures in there, which, as you'd expect. Mark Riley's Mixed Grill, that's always a good read, isn't it? It's not a celebrity this week, it's just a big City fan. Well, he could be a celebrity. I don't personally know him. He does blogs apparently very, very well. A guy called Howard Gilby from Burnage originally, so not far from me. I was in Withington. He was born in 1954, so a little bit older than me. I mean, I know there's not many about older than me, but he was part of the group that instigated the Junior Blues. So Mark Riley's little Q&A is with that gentleman. In focus, Kevin Cummings, of course, with his artwork. He's got his photographs, has some great shots of Lisbon on previous City trips. So, of course, we're looking forward to that upcoming trip. So, some great images of fans in Lisbon, etc. So, that's good to look at. And the last word, the last feature, something close to my heart, standing outside the newsagents in the 60s and 70s waiting for the football pink to arrive about an hour after a game finished. So if it was a home game, I'd get home, have a quick drink and go out and wait for this football pink with all the usual faces. And they talk about it, of course, in this little piece. Because you got to see all the same guys. And obviously, it wasn't just City fans, it would be United fans and other fans as well, depending which area of the country you lived in. But it's obviously everyone was stood outside the newsagents waiting for the van to pull up and throw the pile of pinks onto the pavement for someone to collect them and take them into the shop. And you got your issue with the pink. So a little article on that, reminiscing about that in days gone by. Well, there you go, brilliant. Very good this month, I must admit. I mean, my highlights is 4 or 5 things that I really enjoyed in this. But, of course, the football pink piece, which brings back so many memories for people like me. Obviously, if you're too young not to remember that, but obviously, I hope you enjoy that anyway. If you're a bit young, but to read about what we did to get the latest news. And even that was, you probably, the final minutes of the game, certainly they went into injury time or there's a delay in a game, you didn't quite get it finished off, and you might have had a latest score as well rather than a final score, because obviously they wanted to get this pink out by a certain time because of the demand. So there you go. So that was one of my favourites. Of course, Mark Riley's interview, that was pretty good with Howard Gilby. As I said, I'm not familiar with the gentleman, but it was nice to learn a little bit about him. So there you go, guys. A very, very good magazine. Well worth the read. All credit to Manchester City. It's a great shame it's not hard copy, but yeah, we take what we can, don't we? So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the magazine, and let me know what you think of it as well. As I say, I think they're doing pretty well with it. It's perhaps improving. I think it's improving as it goes along. I don't know what your thoughts are. Let me know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What are you going to do rest today? Have a great one. Catch yourselves, catch your friends, and catch your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. So we meet here again on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.